Okay. Oh. Oh. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we have a big boy box. This is the Acer Orion 7000 12th gen system. We looked at the 3000 I think it was before. This is the high-end model and the new refresh for this year. So let's get it unboxed and give myself a bit of a breather as well. So as I said, this is the Orion 7000, the high-end system. I will cover the other ones that they actually do. They've got three in their range. There's the 3000, 5000 and the 7000. But I wanted to look at the 7000 for one specific reason. So inside we have, looks like we've got a DisplayPort cable, a USB-A to USB-B or USB, it's the powered hub one, so maybe for a monitor, then a kettle lead for our power, nice thick foam as well, very densely padded, which is nice. There we go, the 7000. So I wanted to look at this for ages, but with something of this value, which is £3,299, you only generally get one sample going around, so it's been a little while, but it has arrived. Let's give you a rundown. This, as I said, is the high-end one. This is the i9 12900K with a 3090 in it, so graphic work, video editing, gaming, of course, it's going to do it all. Got 32 GB of DDR5 memory in this model, and that's running at 4000 megahertz. A little bit low for DDR5 standards, but it may be that it's running at a lower cache latency, so we'll have to see when we get into the actual nitty-gritty of it. As you can see on the front, we've got two 140mm fans, nice perforations around the outside as well to draw in some nice fresh air. On the top we've got a nice power button. There's three USB 3s, USB-C, headphone and microphone. There's also this little button that ejects this, which I'm going to presume is an external SSD by the weight of it, and that's got a USB-C connector on the end, so we'll have a look a bit more in depth on that later. It just slots in, so maybe if you want to take your game library or some films to a friend, you can easily do that. Going around the outside, let me just carefully lift this up so we can see the rear I/O. We've got two USB 3s, two USB 2s, Ethernet, a USB-C on the motherboard, another USB 2, some basic audio, and I'm going to guess 2.5 GB considering it's Intel 12th gen. Graphics card looks like a 3-slot behemoth, so we've got 3 display ports and then a HDMI out. There's 2 screws on the glass panel that we need to remove before we can actually take the glass panel off. Then we can do this little latch that you just pull. There we go. Nice bit of tempered glass, Predator logo on there as well. So into the guts, we can see we've got a hard drive installed there. It's a 2 terabyte drive. Then we've got a NVMe, which is a 1 terabyte for your boot device, anything you need quicker storage for. Graphics card, which is a 3090, it's got some simple GeForce branding on it, but I'm not sure who the actual vendor is. We'll find that out when we use GPU-Z in a review. The power supply has got a little light on sticker. I'm not sure if that's the actual OEM. But again, when I get around the other side, it's something we can look at. This is one thing that bugs me from the last Orion I looked at. This is the DDR5, no heat sinks on that at all. The green looks horrible. You're spending £3,300 on a PC, I'd at least like a heatsink on the RAM stick. I can't see a cast timing on there, so again, that's something we'll have to look at when we've actually booted up the system and able to look at the specs in some software. Other things to touch on, so there's the kind of carrier for the external SSD, I'm guessing, and that goes to a internal header on the motherboard. See, you've got 4 different plugs of ARGB in there as well, so this is obviously kind of light up like a Christmas tree. So I had a concern when I looked at the Orion 3000 that I was hoping I wouldn't see with this one, but I do. Now the AIO they're using for this is their own kind of branded one. You can see the Predator logo, but it's using a single 120mm radiator. So to give you some context, if you don't know, Intel 12900K runs very warm. I tested my 12900K this morning with Cinebench on a 30-minute loop, and it reached a peak of 83 degrees, and that was using a 420mm radiator, so 340mm fans. So seeing that 12900K cooled by a single 120mm AIO is something I'm a little bit disappointed to see. I don't even think there's room for a 240 there either. You can see there's a bit of a gap. You might be able to get one in. There are some screw holes, but they may use this case design for other ones and then just slightly change the fronts and things. So it's going to be hot. It's going to be very, very hot, and we shall see how we get on. But I'm hoping that they've either optimized the BIOS or the cooling so that it doesn't get too hot. Maybe it'll clock down if it's starting to reach higher temperatures. In the last Orion I looked at, the fans would really ramp up when it got hot to a point where it was like an airplane taking off. So hopefully it's not quite as loud as that, but we shall see. I kind of like this ice tunnel little design to go across the GPU, 3090, but that again, that's got a triple fan on it, so that should stay relatively cool. But that should give you some context. You know, you've got 3 smaller fans on this graphics card alone, and then you've just got one standard 120 on a processor like that. So time will tell. I do want to just quickly turn it on just to see how it looks. There's no power switch on the PSU. That's a bit of a strange one. Seems we have some kind of glowy effect by standard. I also want to see what wattage power supply they're using as well, because we've got 3090 and a 1200K, so it's going to be using a lot of watts. I'd hope that it's 1000 watts, or at least a reputable brand with a 850, but we shall see again when I do a little bit more detailed inspection of this. But yeah, stay tuned for the review. I shall do some benchmarks with this in a minute. It's going to go one way or the other. So thank you all for watching this, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little overview of the Orion 7000. I will leave links and stuff down in the description box if you want to have a look in a bit more depth. Thank you to Acer for sending this out for me to look at. Review will be up very soon, so stay tuned. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.